Welcome on out to another episode of Cult Classics vs. Comedians. My name is Jamie Maxfield, and we are recording here at Quirky Engine Entertainment Studios here in Kaysville, Utah. Going to talk about a lovely little film called Clifford. And we are talking about Clifford, and this is your film there, Steve.
This is my
take us down the road.
Film to review.
Clifford.
I'm a big Clifford fan, and I still am as an adult, which was a little surprising because it does have the feel of a kid's movie, but I love Martin Short. And so it starts off with a super old version of Martin Short talking to a very young Shia LaBeouf. And,
is that Shia LaBeouf in that? I don't even know. I'm gonna go watch it again.
Yeah. He's talking to Shia LaBeouf, and and there's no explanation on this one, but he's a priest, and
right.
he is like head of some school. Shia LaBeouf character is misbehaving, and it starts this whole like, well, as I was a boy, I used to misbehave, and you start seeing Clifford as a little boy, and he's wearing like a little boy school outfit, even though, you know, he's never in a school at any point, but
he's dressed like the guitarist for AC/DC
Yeah.
for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't expect him to just start like...
He's like Angus Young the whole time.
And they're going on vacation, but he's still in his school clothes.
To Hawaii, but he's in his school clothes.
Father played by the very funny Richard Kind, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I'll kill him! I'll wring his neck! He's so pissed all the time.
Exactly.
Oh, God, I hate him.
Oh, it's
The
so
worst.
good. He's the worst!
It's
so
very
good.
slapsticky, and I think that's part of the reason why I love it. It is one of those movies where everything goes to pot. Clifford is just this dynamite case and makes everything explode and ruin, but his main goal in life is to go to Dinosaur World. So in reaching that goal, they're going to Hawaii on vacation, but Dinosaur World is in LA, so he causes the plane to need to have an emergency landing in LA by shutting down the engines. This is pre 9/11, right?
Well, they take him to the captain. Would you like to see the cockpit?
You know, how can we land in LA?
Yeah.
And turns everything off, and they're freaking out. And so then he gets put with his Uncle Martin, because Uncle Martin is trying to win the heart of Miss Sarah Davis. She
Miss Sarah Davis.
doesn't think that Uncle Martin loves kids. And in reality, he doesn't.
Oh,
But
so
then
good. Uncle Martin played by the incomparable Charles Grodin.
Yeah, and he kills
A
the,
god.
he nails this role.
Yeah.
So
just
good.
so well, and every line
Oh,
is just
Clifford.
like
Oh, he's so...
tongue in cheek.
He's kind of like the equivalent of Pesci, where you can tell he just wants to like swear all the time. He's
yeah.
like, "Rig a
Oh, yeah.
friggin' out, friggin'," you know. But that's just you. If this movie was the darker path, Grodin would have murdered Martin
Yeah.
Short at some point, and that's where that movie
The
would
rest
have
of the
turned.
episode would have been him.
Would have been him
getting
trying to
rid of
hide the body in Dinosaur World.
You could see him just simmering on the
Yeah.
surface the whole movie about Clifford and talking through his teeth.
Oh,
around
it's so good.
in the car and this type of stuff, and then that's the whole rest of the movie is Clifford and his uncle trying to make it look like he likes kids so that Miss Sarah Davis will go, oh, he's into kids, and Clifford trying to destroy everything so that he can get to Dinosaur World. And then also I think there's a subtext there because Clifford also kind of has a thing for Miss Sarah Davis.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think he's also trying to get her
Win the heart of
to
her. Yeah.
hate.
When he first sees her, the first thing
Yeah.
he does is he sneaks into her on the shower, and he puts his
that's right.
dinosaur
Yeah.
in. But I feel like he's using his eyes to see what
His
he
Dinosaur
cannot.
Stefan.
So
Played
you're
by
like,
Stefan the
the
dinosaur.
first thing is as a 9-year-old seeing this grown woman naked, essentially
Through Stefan.
through
Which-
Stefan, through the eyes of a dinosaur. Curse you! Curse your eyes!
It was Stefan!
It was Stefan.
That's
Anything
Stefan.
that ultimately is really bad is blamed on Stefan. And he speaks very, like, eloquently for his age, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah.
always like,
Oh, papa. Yeah, it's this weird, hyper-realistic version of a child that you go. It's kind of like Family Guy, where you go, okay, so people are aware that he's a dog that talks, but yet other people have dogs, and like women have slept with this dog, but they know he's a dog, and you kind of do that same thing where you're like, well, he's kind of a kid, but he's also a 50-year-old man who's just walking in a ditch.
Yeah.
On set. Like, they didn't really try to make him look young. It's not any kind of Benjamin Button facial thing. It's a 50-year-old man, old as can be.
They just have him. One of my favorite scenes is when he goes and visits Miss Sarah Davis at the preschool. I don't know why I always have to say the Miss, but
because that's who
important.
she is. She's Miss Sarah Davis.
And you see the Uncle Martin in the glass, and then him lifting. And you can see him really struggle because he's lifting freaking Martin Short like this, and Martin Short's like, "Hey."
Yeah, they almost allude to the fact that he's an adult. Like
man.
there's this hint of that, and he calls in bomb threats. At the end of this, you're pretty sure that he's a member of ISIS. Like by the time you're done with this,
he's the worst.
Yeah.
And that's Uncle Martin's threat and that's like his moment when Clifford realizes like, oh, I'm a total juice pouch. Like that he goes. That's my word for douchebag.
Juice pouch?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I like it better. But when he goes, what if you got a hold of plutonium? You know, I just made the bestest nuclear bomb ever.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, maybe I am the worst.
So good.
And I love Martin Short.
Martin Short
has. I don't know that we have a Martin Short today. And maybe we can't. I don't know if we could.
It was almost like that. You know, like he to me, he will always be his character from Three Amigos, Little Nettie.
Yeah.
He's that character that came across in the old.
Yeah.
Yeah, they even had him playing on Arrested Development. Where he was the old silent film star, the rest on the radio. And that to me is who he is. He's a throwback to that kind of slapsticky falling, spit takes, and silliness. But also, I mean, look at the rest of that cast. Not only is it Charles Grodin, it's Mary Steenburgen, it's Dabney Coleman. Like, there's so many heavy hitters, like comedy heavy hitters in that movie.
Yeah. Kristal, what do you think about the show?
I mean, if you like Martin Short, you'll like this film. I'm watching it and I was like, did Clifford come first or Ed Grimley come first?
Ed Grimley.
Yeah. Okay.
I must say.
And that's who I always see Martin Short.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
That's my
completely
character.
You can even see it when he's like dancing through
Yes.
the
And
train
his
thing,
walk.
and he does the
His
thing, and you're
walk.
just like,
Just
oh,
his
that's Ed.
walk.
Oh,
Yeah.
He
That's
does
funny.
do the walk.
Yeah.
I love how everybody's staring at him as he's running down. Open your golden gate.
Yeah, like to me, the movie was. It felt like because I'm watching it, I'm looking at March. I'm like, you don't look like a kid at all. And then in my head, I'm like, this is like a weird pedophile role playing video. Like, it's just like the uncle's like, put these clothes on, Tom. Yeah, I'm gonna make you look like a kid. Oh, that's right. Oh yeah. Now get on your knees. Oh, this is perfect. Yes, Phil, roll the camera.
He's
I
short
want this.
now.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but isn't that part of the charm? He didn't look real. You know, he's not a real boy. He's a grown man, and had it been a kid, like had it been Problem Child, it would have been her Problem Child.
Or Dennis the Menace.
Or Dennis the
something
Menace,
like
or
that,
anything, right? But because it was him, there was that element of like, he can inappropriately hug the stewardess. He can say this joke because it's really a 40-year-old man saying it, and that's the beauty of Clifford.
And the adults get it because like kids just watch it and they go, oh, this is just a guy playing a kid, and oh, it's funny, and he's doing all this crazy stuff. Adults look at it and go, this is funny because it's an old dude trying to be a kid.
It's like you know what it is? It's the same thing. It's the same thing that makes me laugh about Dorf on Golf. Remember Dorf?
Oh man.
With Tim Conway, and he put the shoes on his knees, and he was just a little person. He would fall over. It's stupid. You know that his legs are in the ground. Nobody thinks you're.
Wait.
But it's.
All right.
What?
He's like,
Spoiler alert. The legs are in the ground.
Tim Conway's knees.
But that's the same charm of it, right?
Yeah.
That it's kind of like.
Yeah. It definitely it isn't for everybody.
Right.
If you're somebody who goes, I need my comedy to be fairly in my face.
Right.
It's like, well, this is going to be a little bit older, and there has to maybe you have to like vaudeville type stuff a little bit. I think you have to be somebody who goes, yeah, I enjoy the old charm.
Yeah.
And other than that, though, man, I loved it. It makes me laugh.
I do
so
have
much.
to admit, though, I was a little disappointed in the opening scene where it was the year 2050, in the future, and they cut into the house of the wayward children, and it looks just like a house you would see today. Like there was no advanced technology anywhere in the year 2050.
You know,
They must have known where we were headed.
the only thing they did that was
Yeah, just nothing but sad foreclosure and home for wayward boys.
Like that's probably right. The orphanages will be back, and they'll just be pickpockets running the street. Oh, get him, son. We'll teach him.
We'll go back.
Yeah, you just roam with a bunch of everybody grows out. That's it'd be the 1800s. They'll have monocles and just. Won't you get me today, son? Oh, I found 8. Oh, I did. Oh, I found 8. That's 2 years old.
Old record players. Yeah. And stuff.
That's the coolest.
Yeah.
They did do a beep. I think that was their attempt.
like
was the when he typed.
Oh
on
yeah, he
keypad,
typed
it was
his
like
keypad. That was it. That's the only reference to.
That's the future.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, okay. So Kristal, when did you see this movie? How were you a kid or were you
Just recently.
Just this?
Yes.
Was this the first time you saw it?
First time I see it.
I can understand that reaction because as like a grown woman, let me put it this way: if I was Netflix and chilling, I probably wouldn't be like, "You want to watch Clifford?"
I enjoyed it, but I enjoy Martin Short.
Right,
That's why
sure.
I said if you are into Martin Short, if you like the slapsticky, then you'll enjoy it, and the absurdity of this grown man playing a child, just like we've all touched on it. But you have to be on board with it. Otherwise, don't Netflix and chill this. Not recommended.
Yeah. So, as a cult classic, would you recommend this, Marcus?
Oh,
this
hell
one?
yeah.
Yeah?
Watch Clifford. If you love other movies that Martin Short, like if you love Three Amigos, if you love that type of movie, this is like the B-side to that. It's like if you watch Three Amigos, it's the double feature. It's the B-side to that. Like, yeah. So totally. Watch Clifford. It's awesome.
Yep.
I stand
Kristal,
by
how about yourself?
Yeah, Martin Short. If you're on board, do it. Yeah.
Good. I don't know if I'm recommending this one. I'm going to be honest. It's fun. What I would do with this film is I would make my kids watch it and just sit there and watch their reactions to what's going on.
Kind of like an experiment.
Yeah, just sit there and go, okay, with a little notepad. All right, that's interesting, and see because usually when I take my kids and I make them watch a show that I loved when I was a kid, they usually just rip it apart the whole time.
Yeah.
Sure.
They just make fun of it. That's so ridiculous. That doesn't even look real. This is the dumbest movie ever. But I'll make them watch other ones, and all of a sudden they'll like it. Like they love Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I thought they would be on board with that. They totally love this. So I want to make them watch this to see if they would love Clifford.
Feels like that's kind of a similar goofiness.
Yeah.
It's a little different, but same amount of vaudeville, or at least pratfalls and silly
That's the perfect, like, if you had to explain Pee-wee's Big Adventure, it's just like that's there you go. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So Steve, obviously this is a recommendation
I
for
love
you.
it. Yeah, it's a recommendation, but I like that you said it's not a recommendation because probably 3 out of 4 people will love it.
Yep.
You're the fourth, Dennis.
I'm it. Gosh, dang it. All right. Hey guys, thanks for joining me for this episode of Cult Classics vs. Comedians. Again, we want to thank the folks at Quirky Engine Entertainment Studios for letting us have this place. And Steve, how can people find you?
Just use my name, Steve Soelberg. Soelberg's Soelberg. You can find me stevesoelberg.com or Facebook or YouTube or Instagram.
Awesome. Marcus?
Go to marcusandguy.com. It features the music show I do with another comic named Guy Seidel, as well as my stand-up, the podcast I do, Area 52, and Dirt Pod, the show I host, Ghost Hopping. And Marcus is just spelled how it sounds, PQL. Then there's a backwards R, and then a hashtag, and the emoticon for sneezing.
Perfect.
Is there one of those?
Yeah,
I don't use emoticons. I've never used one.
The sneezing? Really?
Never
Not the
used
sneezing one?
God bless you.
I've never used any emoticon.
Sneezing emoticon. Send.
God bless you,
Right?
emoticon.
That's
Kristal,
awesome.
how about you?
You can find me at hellosweetiepodcast.com or Facebook, Kristal Starr. That's KristalStarr.
Awesome. And then my name's Jamie Maxfield. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter by Jamie Maxfield. And then also look for Channel 801 on Facebook. It's a monthly movie showcase that we do every month. And then also the podcasts that we do as well, Where's the Punch and Channel 801 podcasts. And of course, Cult Classics vs. Comedians. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.